Hey UConn fans, welcome to October in this week's edition of UC Sports. Alongside Glynn, I'm Noam. It was an interesting week for UConn sports.
Interesting indeed, Noam. We have a great show lined up for everyone tonight. We will touch on everything Husky related, ranging from UConn football to volleyball. We have a lot to cover tonight.
Well, let's get to it. You tuned in for the sports, and that's what we're going to give you. October has started, so has UC Sports. Let's go! The UConn Huskies football team returned to the Rent on Saturday and in front of a crowd of just over 20,000 people, turned in another uninspiring performance.
The UConn Huskies dropped to 1-4 on the season with another blowout loss today at Pratt & Whitney Stadium, losing 49-7 to the Cincinnati Bearcats. The Huskies came out firing on their first drive. They marched down the field in under 2 minutes thanks to a 41-yard pass from David Pindell to Aaron McLean. The drive ended in a 5-yard touchdown pass to Kyle Buss, his first career touchdown.
How did it feel kicking your first touchdown of your career?
It felt good. I mean, we're up 7-0, so had a great drive to start the game and get down there and put the ball in the end zone, and it doesn't get better than that. So you just got to carry that on through the rest of the game.
After that, it was all Bearcats. They answered right back with a touchdown on the next drive. Quarterback Desmond Ritter ran for a 1-yard touchdown to tie the game at 7. On their next drive, Cincinnati pulled ahead on a touchdown run by Michael Warren II. Then, despite good defensive plays, such as a fumble recovery by Lawal Ugwak and a sack by Kevon Jones, the Huskies couldn't put up any points. They missed a field goal that would have cut the deficit to 4, and on the following drive, Cincinnati drove down the field in 38 seconds to score again before the half. The second half was all Bearcats. They outscored UConn 28-0, scoring 3 touchdowns in the third quarter alone. The Huskies couldn't get any offense going whatsoever. Pindell finished with only 125 passing yards and only 22 yards on the ground. After the game, we caught up with him and asked him what limited his offensive production.
I would say they took the run away. It's just my knee isn't as 100% as I want, and when I tried to open my stride on some of the runs, I couldn't really run as fast as I want to. So I try to slide when I can, try to be more healthy. But I wouldn't say they really took away the run.
After the game, Coach Randy Edsel talked about deficiency in the coaching staff after falling to yet another blowout loss.
Obviously, we got physically handled today and didn't do the things we needed to do. So that's on me, and we'll work to get better. We got blown off the ball, and sometimes we didn't maintain our gaps, and that's my fault.
Next week, the Huskies will travel to Memphis to face off with the Tigers, still looking for their first conference win. From Pratt & Whitney Stadium, I'm Danny Barletta, UCTV Sports.
It's my pleasure to welcome in Danny Barletta, our football analyst tonight. Danny, thanks for being here tonight. After senior quarterback David Pindell led the Huskies to an opening drive touchdown, the Huskies' offense really stalled and couldn't get anything going. What happened to an offense that has showed so much promise at times during this young season?
Well, after the first drive, they put a new defender on the tight end, Aaron McLean, and that limited his production the rest of the game. Like, he had that big catch on the first drive. But honestly, I just think that was the beginning of the issues. Like, Pindell was under pressure all day. He had no time to make any of his reads. It seemed like he got one look off and he had to either throw it there or he was sacked or just had to throw it out of bounds. Like, the O-line didn't do much to help him, but a lot of that's on just how good the Cincinnati pass rush is. And their run defense was really good too. Like no matter who they had in the backfield, nobody could get more than 1 or 2 yards per carry, it seems like. So.
Yeah, and we got to talk to a lot of players after the game, and the majority of them said they were deflated for almost all the game after they scored that first touchdown. What do you think was the turning point, and how do seniors like Pindell and like wide receiver Kyle Buss step up to turn this thing around?
I think the turning point was no doubt the missed field goal at the end of the first half, and then that 38-second drive that the Bearcats scored on to make it 21-7 before the half. Because frankly, when they came out for the second half, they just didn't look ready to play. I think it was a 2-play drive, 30 seconds. They came down 28-7. The game's practically over at that point, like in a matter of 2 minutes game time. So I think that was definitely the turning point. And I think the best that the seniors can do is just try to stay positive, just put this game and this 1-4 start to the season behind them, and just emphasize the fact that let's move on.
Yeah, that field goal miss was really a tough break, and it really started, I think, from that catch in the corner of the end zone that they went to review for and didn't go UConn's way. In his press conference, Coach Edsall repeatedly said that this one is on him, putting all the blame on the coaching staff. If you were Coach Edsall, what adjustments do you make, and what adjustments can you make?
I really don't think there's a whole lot that he can do. Like, obviously, you want to ensure that your players are trying your best and that, you're playing to the best of your ability. But after that, it's on the players. So I think just keep a positive atmosphere at practice. But after that, I don't think there's a lot to do to fix this team this year, at least.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a really young team, and the pressure is certainly building on Edsall and his defensive coordinator, Billy Crocker. Early in the week, Edsall walked out of his press conference after being asked about the security of Crocker's job. And this is a defense that actually improved statistically against Cincinnati despite giving up 49 points and 659 yards, both which were lower than their season totals, or the season averages. Do you think Edsall and Crocker are on the hot seat? And if not yet, how much more will it take?
Well, first of all, I mean, that's just sad. Like, that they let up 49 points and 659 yards, and that brings down their season average. But as I said before, although Edsall, wants to take the blame, I don't know how much is really on him and the coaching staff. Like, it comes down to just not having the talented personnel to compete at a high level. Like, essentially, they look like an FCS team playing an FBS schedule. And you're not going to win a lot of games that way.
Yeah, it's a tough reality, but Huskies fans are hoping that somebody has woken this team up since September has ended, and it's time to show what they are made of. They return to action Saturday at 7 as they travel to Memphis. We'll take a quick break for commercial, but when we're back, we've got the scoop on UConn Field Hockey's championship rematch against Maryland.
Hope when you take that jump, you don't feel the fall. Hope when the water rises, you build a wall. Hope when the crowd screams out, you're screaming your name. Hope if everybody runs, you choose to stay.
Well, Husky fans, the streak is finally over. On Sunday, Maryland got revenge for their last year national championship loss at the hands of the Huskies by winning the rematch 4-2. This loss snapped the field hockey's 33-game win streak, which took place over a span of 681 days. The last time the field hockey team tasted defeat, Barack Obama was still in office, the Chainsmokers had the top song and Closer, and Kaepernick was still starting for the 49ers. Our own Hezekiah Johnson was on the scene Sunday to witness the stunning defeat.
The UConn field hockey team took on number 3 Maryland in a rematch of the 2017 National Championship. In a highly anticipated game, it was a tale of two halves for the Huskies, as Maryland drew first blood in this one with 2 goals coming from number 15, Bodil Koss. Maryland was also able to utilize their 4 corner penalties of the first half, turning 3 of them into goals.
Like the first half, we weren't really there, and Maryland is a really good team, so they punished us for that.
UConn started to fight back in the second half, with Cheyenne's Preacher recording 8 saves. That defense fueled their offense as Cecile Piper scored 2 goals late in the game to bring the Huskies within 2. However, the clock turned into the enemy in this one, as the comeback was cut short and Maryland wins 4-2, cutting the Huskies' 33-game win streak.
I was really proud the way our team fought. You know, being down 4-0, that's a very steep hill to climb, and our team dug in, fought back, made a game of it at 4-2, and we're still pressing at the end to get that 3rd goal, and I'm proud of that effort.
This gives UConn their first loss since 2016, when they lost to North Carolina in overtime. This puts the Huskies at 10-1 on the season, and they look to bounce back on Friday against Providence. From George J. Sherman, Family Sports Complex, I'm Hezekiah Johnson, UCTV Sports.
This is a tough loss for the Huskies, but after losing 3 key players from last year, it's not time to hit the panic button yet.
Absolutely. This loss is nothing to hang their heads over. They played a tough game and a tough team in the nation and showed all but fight all game long. Coach Nancy Stevens remains upbeat even after the loss, so I don't see anything to worry about moving forward. She will have her players ready to go moving forward. And now back to you, Noam, to tell us about the men's soccer team trip to Memphis this past weekend.
On Friday night, the UConn Huskies men's soccer team traveled to Memphis and came away with a crucial 2-0 road victory, their first win in 2 games away from Maroney Stadium this year. Dayon Harris scored another goal, his second in 2 games, and Ibrahima Diop added insurance in the waning seconds. The win improved the Huskies' record to 5-2-1. After their win in Memphis, the Huskies ran into a pair of celebrities at the airport, Rex Ryan and Randy Moss. Now, they prepare to take on Providence in another road game on Tuesday night. After another quick commercial break, we'll be back to talk women's soccer.
On Sunday, the UConn's women's soccer team welcomed to town conference foe UCF. A huge start for the Golden Knights catapulted them to an early 4-0 lead. Despite the slow start to the game, the Huskies showed no quit by rallying back 3 goals of their own, including 2 coming from senior Elena Santos and 1 from sophomore Sophia DK. Despite the furious rally, UCF tacked on an insurance goal in the 65th minute to give the Golden Knights a 5-3 lead, which ended up being the final score. UConn drops to 2-11 on the season and remain winless in conference play. Fortunately for them, they will enter their bye week next week and will be able to give some rest. They'll return to the pitch on October 11th on the road at ECU.
Meanwhile, the UConn women's hockey team opened the season with 2 straight 3-2 victories over St. Cloud State at Freitas Ice Forum this weekend. On Friday night, they won a 3-2 thriller in overtime as freshman Cameron Wong lit the lamp for the game winner. On Saturday, sophomore Natalie Snodgrass kicked off her sophomore campaign with a goal before Wong netted another game winner, moving the Huskies to 2-0. They journey up to Vermont to take on the Catamounts, opening Hockey East play on Saturday night at 6.
This past Friday, UConn volleyball continued their road trip in Philadelphia to take on their AAC rivals, the Temple Owls. The Huskies came out on attack by scoring the first points in every set. But for the most part early on, it was a back-and-forth contest. It wasn't until freshman Anna Petrova's set-stealing kill that set the tone for the rest of the night for the Huskies. After splitting the first two sets, UConn took over by winning the last two, 25-22 and 25-16. Freshman Kaylee Parker led the way with 18 kills, while her teammate Emma Turner dominated with a game-high 52 assists. This was the first win against the Owls in 3 seasons as UConn improved to 10-6 on the season and 2-1 in conference play. They return home this week where they will play ECU on Friday and Cincinnati on Sunday.
Next Friday night, October 12th, UConn basketball's first night returns to Gamble Pavilion. With the arrival of new head coach Dan Hurley, the men's program looks to return to dominance.
As for the women, Gino Oriama enters his 34th season looking to break a 2-year title drought with a team that is for sure to be the preseason favorite. In terms of first night, doors open at 5:30 with the festivities kicking off at 7 p.m. It's sure to be a fun night at Gamble, so come on down.
That's all for tonight, folks. If you like this show, be sure to share it on social media. And even if you didn't, we'll be back next week with all things Huskies sports, so make sure to tune in.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter at UCTV Sports and subscribe to our YouTube channel, UCTV Channel 14, to keep up to date on all things UConn athletics as they happen. For Noam and the crew, I'm Glynn. Have a great week. Go Huskies!